أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا. من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر إلا نفسه ولا يضر الله شيئا. فقد قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. رب زدني علما. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. My dear audiences and my dear friends, brothers and sisters, and those who are watching through Facebook, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is a great pleasure for me to attend this Tafsirul Mahfil, and hence at the very beginning, at the commencement of this Tafsirul Mahfil, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the only one creator of everything, by saying Alhamdulillah, all praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, in today's Tafsirul Mahfil, we shall have a discussion on verse number 41 from Suratu Younus. Suratu Younus is the surah number 10 from the Holy Qur'an, and we shall find this verse, this ayat, in part number 11 of the Holy Qur'an. So as usual, at the very beginning, we shall go to the recitation as well as meaning of this verse number 41 of Surah Younus. Then inshallah, we shall go to the elaborate discussion. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإن كذبوك فقل لي عملي ولكم عملكم أنتم بريئون مما أعمل وأنا بريء مما تعملون. صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحان الله العظيم. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin abdika wa rasulik. I seek refuge, I seek shelter to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from the accursed devil, from the accursed shaitan, and I am beginning with the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is most merciful, most beneficent. وَإِن كَذَّبُوكَ فَقُلْ لِي عَمَلِي وَلَكُمْ عَمَلُكُمْ. And if they make you liar, if they deny your invitation of Tawheed, فَقُلْ لِي, tell them, لِي عَمَلِي, my deeds are for me. I am responsible for my deeds. وَلَكُمْ عَمَلُكُمْ, and you are responsible for your deeds, for your functions. أَنْتُمْ بَرِيئُونَ مِمَّا أَعْمَلُ وَأَنَا بَرِيءٌ مِمَّا تَعْمَلُونَ. I do not have any relation with your activities, and you do not have any relation with my activities. Almighty Allah has said the truth, and His prophets and messengers have also said the truth, and we are among the witnesses. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All praises are for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the greatest. O Allah, bless your servant and prophet, Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This was the recitation as well as meaning of verse number 41 from Suratu Younus. This Suratu Younus was revealed upon our prophet during his prophethood life in Makkah. As we know, our beloved prophet spent his first 13 years of his prophethood life in Makkah and rest of the 10 years in Medina. As we know, the inhabitants of Makkah, the people of Makkah used to worship idols and images. They were the non-believers of Islam, and at that time, by the order of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our beloved prophet started to invite them towards the invitation of Tawheed, towards the invitation of oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by saying, Allahu Rabbuna wa Rabbukum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is my creator, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also your creator. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one creator, and who is the creator of everything. But the people of Makkah, the inhabitants of Makkah, the members of Quraysh, denied his invitation of Tawheed. And at that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this verse, this honorable ayat, this honorable verse upon our beloved prophet in order to motivate him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told our beloved prophet, O prophet, it is only your duty to ask them under the shelter of Islam. It is only your duty to invite them towards the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether they accept it or not, you will not be liable for that. And being a preacher of Islam, being a scholar of Islam among us who used to invite people towards the Islam, we have lesson in this verse number 41. We shall invite people towards the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether they are accepting or not, we shall not be liable for that. It is our utmost duty, it is our foremost duty, it is obligatory, it is mandatory to us to invite people towards the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And whether the non-believers of Islam accept it or not, we shall not be liable for that. And here, in verse number 41, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clearly told our beloved prophet, O prophet, don't be sad, don't be upset, don't be anxious that they are not accepting your invitation of Tawheed. Don't be anxious about that. Because you are only to invite them. Whether they accept or not, you will not be responsible for that. So, among us, those who used to invite people towards the towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the teachings of Tawheed, towards the teachings of Islam. We have a lesson here. We shall only invite people. Whether they accept it or not, we shall not be liable for that. Now, inshallah, we shall go to some relevant other verses, other honorable ayats from the Holy Qur'an. Those are relevant in today's tafsir. Our first relevant ayat in today's tafsir is verse number 41, Suratul Hajj. In verse number 41, Suratul Hajj, Allah Ta'ala is saying, الذين إن مكناهم في الأرض أقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأمروا بالمعروف ونهوا عن المنكر ولله عاقبة الأمور. Suppose we are inviting people towards the Islam, we are inviting people towards the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we have been succeeded. All the people of this country have accepted oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And suppose you have been made head of the state, head of the country. What will be your functions? I always used to say that this Holy Qur'an, this holy book, guides us in every fields of our life. There is no field of our life where this Holy Qur'an does not give us guidance. Suppose you have been made head of the state of this country, head of this country. What will be your functions? Your functions will be four. If you have been entrusted with the post of head of a country, you have four functions. The Holy Quran is saying you will do first four functions. What are the four functions? In verse number 41, Suratul Hajj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, الَّذِينَ إِن مَّكَّنَّاهُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ. If you have been powered, if you have been given power in this world, you will do first thing, أَقَامُوا الصَّلَاةَ. You will establish regular prayer. Allahu Akbar. Establishing regular prayer is the first duty of the head of a state. And what is his second duty? What is his second function? وَأَطَاعُوا الزَّكَاةَ. He will ask people to pay zakat. He will make mandatory zakat system. It will be his second function. وَأَمَرُوا بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. And he will ask people to do good things, good jobs. Amilu Saliha, good deeds. It will be his third function. And his fourth function will be وَنَهَوْا عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ. And he will restrain people from doing ill activities, from doing misdeeds. So, the Holy Quran is asking us to do four functions. If you are head of the state, you will implement these four functions in the whole state. If you are not the head of a state, you are a leader of a society. It is your utmost duty, it is your foremost duty to implement these four functions in the society. Suppose you are not the leader, you are not the head of a state, you are not the head of a society, but you are the head of a family. In your family, you will implement these four functions. What are the four functions? You will establish 5 times regular prayer in your family. You will pay zakat. You will ask members of your family to do good deeds. It is the third function of you. And fourth function is that you will restrain your family members from doing ill activities, from doing misdeeds. And after doing these 4 deeds, after doing these 4 functions, what will you do? وَلِلَّهِ عَاقِبَةُ الْأُمُورِ. You will wait the result for this, and you will depend on Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about the result of these activities. So, the Holy Quran is giving us guidance in all aspects of our life, in all fields of our life. There is no field of our life, either our personal life, either our family life, either our social life, either our state life. Everywhere, the Holy Quran is giving us guidance. So, in order to implement the teachings of Islam in our personal life, in our family life, in our social life, as well as in our state life, we must go through the Holy Quran. We must know the meaning of the Holy Quran. We must know the explanation of the Holy Quran. And then we shall try our best to implement the teachings of Islam in our life. Now, this was the verse number 41, Suratu Hajj, relevant in today's tafsir. Another relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 134 and 141. In both the verse number 134 and 141, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, Tilka ummatun qad khalat laha ma kasabat wa lakum ma kasabtum wa la tus'aluna amma kanu ya'malun. In this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has praised the family members of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, Hazrat Ismail alayhi salam, Hazrat Ishaq alayhi salam, Hazrat Yaqub alayhi salam. They were the religious persons of the world. Many prophets have been sent in their family to guide people towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying here that they were the members, they had passed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the next portion of this verse, Laha ma kasabat wa lakum ma kasabtum. You will be asked what you will earn. That means you are responsible for your own activities. No one will be responsible for your activities. One will not be punished for others' activities. One will not be punished for the misdeeds of others. Everyone will suffer for their own activities. وَلَا تُسْأَلُونَ عَمَّا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the non-believers of Islam, the inhabitants of Makkah, the members of Quraysh, they are rejecting your invitation of Tawheed. So they are rejecting the invitation of Tawheed given by you. They will be responsible for their rejection. You will not be responsible. Same thing has been said in verse number 141 also. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 256. First portion of verse number 256 of Suratu Baqarah is relevant in today's tafsir. Earlier verse was 134 and 141. Those were also from Suratu Baqarah. And here verse number 256, first part of ayat number 256 from Surah Al-Baqarah. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, La ikraha fid deen. There is no compulsion in Islam. Islam is not asking you to make a non-believers Muslim by force. Nauzubillahi min zalik. Islam is asking us to spread teachings of Islam, to deliver message of Islam to the non-believers of Islam. Whether the non-believers of Islam accept it or not, it is upon them. It is up to them. We the Muslims are not bound to make them compulsory to accept the Islam. No. Islam has not been spreaded in the world by force. Someone used to say that Islam has been spreaded in the world on the basis of sword. No. There is no enforcement. There is no compulsion. There is no force in Islam. In verse 256, Suratu Baqarah, Allah SWT is clearly said, La ikraha fid din. There is no compulsion in Islam. If a non-Muslim does not accept Islam, we are not permitted to bring them under the shelter of Islam by force. We shall only invite them to come under the shelter of Islam. Whether he comes or not, it is upon him. Next relevant verse in today's Tafsir is, earlier verse was 256 from Suratu Baqarah. Now relevant verse is verse number 63 from Suratul Furqan. Suratul Furqan, verse number 63. Here Allah is saying, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Here, a teaching has been given to those who used to invite people towards the Islam, who are the religious preacher. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا. The actual servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to make movement on the earth politely, very politely, and they do not make any pride, they do not express their pride, and whenever the non-Muslims call them bad names, they used to say, Salama, peace for you. That means Islam is teaching us not to make debate with the ignorant, with the illiterate persons. Being a religious preacher of Islam, we should not make debate with the ignorant persons. Islam is asking us to avoid dispute, to avoid conflict, to avoid unnecessary talks. When the ignorant persons, a little learner, will try to make debate with you, you will say them, peace for you, salama, goodbye for you. Do not make debate with them. This was verse number 63 from Suratul Furqan, where Allah SWT is giving a guideline to the religious preacher of Islam. Next relevant verse in today's Tafsir is verse number 55 from Suratul Qasas. In verse number 55, Suratul Qasas, Allah SWT is saying, وَإِذَا سَمِعُوا اللَّغْوَ أَعْرَضُوا عَنْهُ وَقَالُوا لَنَا أَعْمَالُنَا وَلَكُمْ أَعْمَالُكُمْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ لَا نَبْتَغِي الْجَاهِلِينَ. Same thing. An actual believer of Islam, whenever they hear unnecessary talks, they avoid unnecessary talks. And they say, وَقَالُوا, when they say, my deeds are for me, I am responsible for my deeds, you will be responsible for your deeds. Salamun alaykum. They used to avoid unnecessary talks. And they pray for my Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they say, La nabtaghi jahilin. I am not among the illiterates. I am not among the ignorants. Nowadays in our society, we used to see that there is a community a new community has been emerged, a new community has appeared in our society. They used to claim them as La Mazhab. They used to say that we do not follow any Mazhab. And they used to make debate with the persons. There are 4 Mazhab. All the Mazhabs are correct. Being a Muslim, you will follow any one of the Mazhab. Either Abu Hanifa Rahmatullah alayhi, Imam Shafi'i Rahmatullah alayhi, Imam Hanbali, Imam Malik. Among the 4 Imams, we the Muslims are to follow any one of them. But there is a community, a new community has been emerged in our society nowadays. They used to say that we are Ahle Hadith, we are La Mazhab. Nauzubillahi min zalik. And they used to make debate with the people. Islam does not allow us to make debate. Islam is saying in verse number 55 that do not make debate with them. Avoid debate, avoid dispute, and do not be among the ignorance. Nowadays, a community who are claiming themselves as La Mazhab, they are the little learner. And because of their lack of knowledge of Islam, they used to make debate with people. And by making debate, they are creating unrest. They are creating indiscipline in the society. Islam does not allow it. So this was verse number 55 from Suratu. Being a Muslim, we shall follow any one of the mazhab, and we shall try to restrain from making any debate regarding Islam. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 23 from Suratu Luqman. In verse number 23, Suratu Luqman, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَلَا يَحْزُنْكَ كُفْرُهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is motivating our beloved Prophet by saying, وَمَنْ كَفَرَ فَلَا يَحْزُنْكَ كُفْرُهُ. The non-believers of Islam are rejecting Islam and they are worshipping the idols and images. Don't be anxious about them. إِلَيْنَا مَرْجِعُهُمْ. They will return to me. فَنُنَبِّئُهُمْ بِمَا عَمِلُوا. Then I shall tell them what they used to do. إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I know what is in their heart, what is in their chest. So while the non-Muslims used to reject the one invitation of Tawheed given by our beloved Prophet sometimes had been anxious about that. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed this verse to motivate our beloved Prophet. Don't be anxious about them. They are rejecting your invitation of Tawheed. After their death, they must return to me. And then I shall tell them what they used to do in the world. So this was verse number 23, Surah Luqman, relevant in today's tafsir. Next relevant verse in today's tafsir is verse number 15 from Suratu Shura. From Suratu Shura, verse number 15, here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, فَلِذَلِكَ فَدْعُ وَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ وَلَا تَتَّبِعْ أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. You invite people in this way. وَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. And stand firmly, strongly on Islam. And do not follow the wills of the non-believers. And tell the non-believers, وَقُلْ آمَنْتُ بِمَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهُ مِنْ كِتَابٍ. And tell the non-believers that I have brought faith what had been given in this book by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأُمِرْتُ لِأَعْدِلَ بَيْنَكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has directed me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has asked me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told me to make justice among you. Allahu Rabbuna wa Rabbukum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is my creator and He is also your creator. Lana a'maluna wa lakum a'malukum. I shall be responsible for my activities. You will be responsible for your activities. La hujjata bainana wa bainakum. As I said, do not make dispute, do not make debate among the people. La hujjata bainana wa bainakum. There is no dispute, there is no quarrel in between you and I. Allahu yajma'u bainana. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will revive us again in the life of hereafter. Wa ilayhi al-masir. And we shall return to Him. So, being a religious preacher of Islam, we must keep in our mind, we must remember that we, the religious preacher of Islam, shall only invite people towards the oneness, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the umbrella of Islam, towards the umbrella of peace. Whether the non-believers of Islam are, whether the non-believers accept it or not, it depends upon them. Because with the religious preacher of Islam, we will only invite them. Because only inviting them is our task, is our function. Next relevant verse in today's Tafsir is verse number 42 from Suratu Shura. In verse number 42, verse number 7, Suratu Abasa. Verse number 7, Suratu Abasa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا عَلَيْكَ أَلَّا يَزَّكَّى. In verse number 47, verse number 7, Suratu Abasa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَمَا عَلَيْكَ أَلَّا يَزَّكَّى. You being a religious preacher, being a preacher of Islam, being an inviter of Islam, you are only to ask people towards the Islam. Whether they accept it or not, you are not responsible for them. Whether they make them purified or not, you will not be liable for them. وَمَا عَلَيْكَ أَلَّا يَزَّكَّى. This verse was revealed in Suratu Abasa during the prophethood life of our beloved prophet in Makkah, while our beloved prophet used to invite people towards the oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One day, our beloved prophet was trying to invite the notorious non-believers of Islam. Utba, Shaiba, someone said Abu Jahl was also there. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our beloved prophet, was trying to bring them in Islam from his heart. At that time, one of the companions who was blind, Abdullah ibn Maktum radiallahu anhu, he came to our beloved prophet. Being Abdullah ibn Maktum radiallahu anhu was blind, he was not aware, he could not see that our beloved prophet is trying to invite the non-believers of Islam, the famous notorious non-believer of Islam, to come under the scepter of Islam. He went there and asked our beloved prophet to teach him from Islam. And on several times he repeated his utterances. At that time, our beloved prophet was angry. Our beloved prophet was, our beloved prophet became unhappy to Abdullah ibn Maktum radiallahu anhu. And that time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has revealed the Suratu Abasa. Suratu Abasa. And verse number 7, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said him, وَمَا عَلَيْكَ أَلَّا يَزَّكَّى. O Prophet, you are trying from your heart, you are trying heart and soul to invite the non-believers of Islam, the Abu Jahl, the Utba, the Shaiba, so that they come under the scepter of Islam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used to see the heart of the non-believers. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing that these non-believers will never come under the center of Islam. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also watching the heart of Abdullah ibn Maktum radhiyallahu anhu. Abdullah ibn Maktum radhiyallahu anhu very eagerly came to our beloved Prophet to learn from Islam. And hence Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said our beloved Prophet, وَمَا عَلَيْكَ أَلَّا يَزَّكَّى. Whether the non-believers of Islam accept or not, one day Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not be responsible for them. Your duty is only to ask them. Whether they come or not, they will be responsible for their functions, for their responsibilities. And in verse number 45, Suratu Naziyat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said about the same thing. إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنْزِرُ مَنْ يَخْشَاهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told our beloved Prophet, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنْزِرُ مَنْ يَخْشَاهَا. You are the only warner. You are the only inviter for those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means who will accept Islam, who will come under the shelter of Islam, who will accept the invitation of Tawheed. They will accept the invitation of Tawheed who fear Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means the teachings of Islam will make benefit for them. They will be benefited for them. Teachings of Islam will be benefited for them. Those who used to fear Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who used to fear that one day we shall meet our death. One day we shall die, and after our death we shall go to our only one Creator, to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And after our death, on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will revive us again in order to take accounts of our activities, what we are doing here. So, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in verse number 45, Suratu Naziyat categorically said, إِنَّمَا أَنْتَ مُنْزِرُ مَنْ يَخْشَاهَا. You are the only warner for those who fear Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Islam, it is the only acceptable religion in the world, and no other religion is acceptable to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala other than Islam. And in verse number 85, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clear said, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Those who will search any other religion other than Islam, that religion will not be accepted by Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and on the day of judgment he will be among those who are losers. So Islam is the only one right religion of the world. Only the followers of Islam will be succeeded in the life of hereafter, and no one will be succeeded. So, from this Tafsirul Mahfil, I would like to invite all the non-believers of Islam, please come under the shelter of Islam and save yourself from the grievous, from the extreme punishment those are waiting in the life of hereafter. Now, inshallah, we shall go with some relevant hadiths. Those are relevant in today's tafsir. First hadith is An Abi Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم الإسلام أن تعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به رواه البخاري. This hadith has been narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radhiyallahu anhu. He said, our beloved Prophet has said, Islam means worship only for Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do not make partner with Him. So, the teachings of Islam is bearing witness, giving witness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only one creator of everything, and he does not have any partner. He does not have any companion. He does not have any son. He does not have any daughter. He does not have any wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having son, daughter or wife. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of meeting death. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from the fault of having birth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is eternal. Next hadith is An Jabir radhiyallahu anhu قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من مات يشرك بالله شيئا دخل النار رواه مسلم. This hadith has been narrated by Jabir radhiyallahu anhu. He said, our beloved Prophet has said, he who has died making partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be thrown in the hell, in the fire. Rawahu Muslim. And Jabir radhiyallahu anhu قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من مات لا يشرك بالله شيئا دخل الجنة رواه مسلم. As Jabir has narrated this hadith also, he said, our beloved Prophet has said, he who has died without making partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he will be admitted in the heaven, in the Jannah. So, precondition to be entered in the heaven is not to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to make shirk with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means, in order to enter in the heaven, the precondition is that our faith will be on Tawheed. Ma Tawheedu, what is Tawheed? At-Tawheedu imanun bi ilahi wahid. Tawheed means having faith on only one creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no one else. Next relevant hadith in today's tafsir is, we used to say, worshipping idols and images amounts to making partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But after accepting Islam, if we do something in order to show off people, in order to have publication, it amounts to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there are three hadiths. This hadith has been narrated by Shaddad ibn Awsin radhiyallahu anhu. He said, our beloved Prophet has said, and Shaddad ibn Awsin radhiyallahu anhu قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من صلى يراعي فقد أشرك رواه أحمد. Our beloved Prophet said, whoever has performed prayers to show people, it amounts to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Suppose you are offering prayer and you are thinking that people will see it and they will praise me. Man salla yurai faqad ashrak. Whoever offer prayer to show people, it amounts to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nauzubillah. Rawahu Ahmad. And another hadith regarding the same. And Shaddad ibn Awsin radhiyallahu anhu قال Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam yaqul man sama yurai faqad ashrak rawahu Ahmad. Whoever keep fasting to show people, it amounts to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rawahu Ahmad. And last hadith, it is very much applicable in our society. Many people make charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you make charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show people, it amounts to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Shaddad ibn Awsin radhiyallahu anhu قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول من تصدق يرائي فقد أشرك رواه أحمد. Whoever has made charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to show people, it amounts to make partner with Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, Tawheed is the main teachings of Islam. Oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the main teachings of Islam. And being a Muslim, we shall always try to remain on Tawheed, on the teachings of oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And after accepting Islam, I have just narrated three hadiths. Whoever offer prayer to show people, it amounts to make partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever keep fasting to show people, it amounts to make partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whoever make charity in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to show people, it amounts to make partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Tawheed is the main teachings of Islam. And among us, those who have not yet accepted Islam, I invite them to come under the shelter of Islam, under the shelter of Tawheed. And among us who of us have accepted Islam, we shall always keep it in our mind that we shall not do anything. Those are against the teachings of oneness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now inshallah, we shall have prayer to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before offering prayer, let us recite Durood. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. اللهم اغفر لحينا وميتنا وشاهدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا. اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على الإسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه على الإيمان. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا. رب هب لي من الصالحين. رب زدني علما. اللهم إني أسألك الهدى والتقى والعفاف والغنى. Wallah. Some of your servants have been gathered here in this Tafsirul Mahfil, and we have discussed from your Holy Qur'an and Hadith. We have made many mistakes. Please forgive our all mistakes and accept this Tafsirul Mahfil. O Allah, forgive our all sins. O Allah, change our sins, all sins, into good deeds. O Allah, you know what is in our heart. Please fulfill our all good desires. O Allah, increase our sustenance. O Allah, give us peace in all aspects of our life. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khayri khalqihi Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.